Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of Relationship Tea with Tina. And I guess today it's Ann Tony.
What up? It's me, Tony.
For those of you who don't know, this is my husband. And we have been together about 10 years all together and married for like 3 years now.
3 years.
Yeah, almost. In October.
Yeah.
In October, it'll be 3 years.
What's the 3-year anniversary?
I have no idea.
Come on.
I don't know. You're the one who's been keeping up like with all of the like paper,
Cotton.
Yeah. And no, we just did cotton.
Yeah, we just did cotton. I don't know what the third one is. I always just research it beforehand. So
I don't know, but we got into a tiff this morning, so I didn't know if we were gonna make this episode happen today.
You know what? I woke up a little frazzled. I had a shoot cancel on me yesterday. I was out of pocket. Pretty good amount of money. It's all fixed now.
Anthony and I are trying to adapt to a new normal, and I've been an entrepreneur now for almost 4 years, and Anthony is new to the entrepreneur world.
New-ish. I was freelancing and working full-time at the same time. So now I'm an entrepreneur fully.
Do you want to do a shameless plug for your business?
I'm not ready yet.
Okay, fine.
No.
Okay.
But keep your eyes out, because as this podcast elevates, your boy here is behind all of the production. So
yeah,
you'll see my logo pop up at some point.
Yeah.
Once we get it.
Yeah.
Even better.
Okay. Well, this morning we got mad at each other, and
I'm sorry, by the way.
So am I. Because I stormed out and I just closed the door in his face because I was on the way to the gym and I was not about to sit here and argue with you all fucking morning. It was not going to happen.
Yeah, and honestly, you slamming the door in my face kind of triggered me, and instead of yelling, which is what I normally would have done, I just
You're not a yeller. You're not a yeller,
I mean. Instead of speaking sternly to your face, I just sent you a barrage of
speaking sternly to your face. I actually think that I'm usually the one who has to calm my cool when we have conflict.
Yeah, but I think it goes without saying that I definitely press your buttons.
Duh, you're a Scorpio. Literally, like, it's like the passive-aggressive comments for me.
I don't even know what that means, but I'll just go with it.
It's like that you have like these zingers that it's like you don't mean to like say it because you're always like, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, obviously you're not trying to be mean. If you were trying to be mean, we'd have a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But you just like say things that you know is like fucked up.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Sometimes my wit gets me in trouble.
That's okay. I forgive you.
I
was just mad because you were breaking a promise. And that, to me, we talk about keeping trust. And one of the biggest questions that I ever get asked in any content that I create is, how do you rebuild trust in your relationship? And my dad is the biggest person who has betrayed my trust with saying he's going to do something and then he breaks a promise. And so that's always been a trigger for me. If someone says they're going to do something,
I understand,
and then they fall back on that word.
If I had $1 for every time your father broke a promise, we would be living in an estate.
I know. God, yeah. I know.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to break a promise. There are situations that changed last night that led me to basically have a really strange morning.
I know, but we do need, that needs to be communicated better. But we've come a long way with at least rebuilding trust in our relationship.
I mean, this fight lasted maybe an hour. You came back from the gym, we made up, we got ourselves back together.
Yeah, because I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb while I was at the gym.
Yeah, but I'm still hitting notify anyway on every text I'm sending. Notify.
Like, leave me alone. Just let me get through this.
You silence your phone. Notify. Let's go.
No.
You're not getting out of this.
It didn't notify me, though.
No, really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's weird.
No, it did not notify me.
That's kind of annoying.
I know. But we were watching Love is Blind last night, too. And it was the topic of conversation around Jimmy having the female friendships. And as I kind of like brought up that trust has been an interesting topic for us to rebuild upon, breaking promises, et cetera, whatever. Female friendships came into play.
Yeah, they did. And you know what? Female friendships are platonic and they're tame. And obviously my male friendships, as you can recall from my bachelor party, are not. So
are not tame. Okay, but the female friendships in your life are not the same as they used to be. Like, full disclosure, like when we first met, there were no boundaries around like the female friendships in your life. They were just kind of like, you're like, I have these friends, you're going to be friends with these friends. These friends are staying in my life. I may have hooked up with them, but it is what it is.
Sure.
And that was, I think, that Chelsea's concern in the episode of Love is Blind last night, because she was fine with Jimmy having female friends. But I think that there was that boundary that changes everything and every context, being able to keep those female friends if you've hooked up with them.
I agree with you. And what I'll say to that is there's a stark difference between the female friendships that I kept and the female friendships that Jimmy keeps in age.
In age? What do you mean in age?
Jimmy's in his 30s now, and he still has those kind of, questionable female friendships.
Yeah.
I had those friendships 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
Different mindset. When I was like 23.
Also, we were at a very different place in our relationship, to be fair. But I started getting annoyed with those female friendships as soon as I started noticing lines were just being crossed. And I think that the lines get blurred with, can men have female friendships and can women have just male friendships that never have those lines crossed? I think I had one male friendship that I worked with at 5W. No, not even at 5W. I had one male friendship that I worked with at my last corporate job.
Okay, and you definitely had a crush on
him. And that's what I'm saying. It was a line that was blurred. It was a line crossed. And so that really creates this tension with being able to have friendships of the opposite sex.
Yeah, I think there just has to be balance, right? And I think there are definitely strict lines that you don't cross in any friendship, right?
No sending heart emojis to the friends.
Yeah, of course. No sending heart emojis.
No sending heart emojis to friends. And hanging out with, texting all night. Not saying that you were doing this, but in the last episode with Jimmy and Chelsea, he was texting his friend all the time that he had apparently hooked up with. He was going out at night with his friend that he had hooked up with. And I just think that is not cool. I think that's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, you have a fiance at home who should be your best friend. And listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with hanging out with your platonic female friends.
But what if you've hooked up with them though?
Well, I don't keep friends like that anymore.
You do. You used to. You used to. What changed that kind of had you change those dynamics? You just jumped up here, Maisie.
Growth, age, maturity.
And what we went through. We've never really talked about that on the podcast or to anybody really.
Yeah.
I've talked about it a little bit on TikTok here and there, but you've never really been ready to actually have that conversation.
I'm probably not even ready today, but hey, we're here. So
if you don't want to, we don't have to.
Let's address the fucking elephant in the room. Oh, damn it. Sorry. I don't mean to curse. We're going to have to bleep that out in post.
I curse in all of my other episodes. It's really okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You should probably try to bleep those out.
I know. Sorry, Maisie, can you play with yourself, Bubba's? Well, the reason why I'm so sensitive to female friendships is because that line was crossed and the trust was betrayed in our relationship. It was. Oh my gosh.
It was.
It absolutely was crossed. And it's because that female friendship became more than just a friendship at a point in our relationship where we were more serious than in the beginning of our relationship.
Yeah. I mean, we were definitely, I would say that we were in the throes of getting serious with our
relationship. We were living together.
Yeah, I know. We were in the throes of being serious.
So what kind of triggers someone to start crossing lines? What was it for you?
I can't speak for all men.
I know.
I can speak for myself.
Okay.
And I think during that time, you and I were experiencing some challenges in our relationship where I felt like you weren't giving me the attention, affection, love that I felt I was deserving of.
Oh.
And, I think for me, I made the horrible mistake of trying to find some of that emotional validation elsewhere. Right?
Yeah.
And I found that through just a friend that I had at the time. I don't communicate with this person anymore, but I found that through a friend that I had at the time. And, I think it definitely it absolutely crossed the line. And obviously, we've come a long way since then.
Right.
But a lot of it stemmed from I guess my insecurity is in terms of validation. You weren't validating me, and I needed that validation.
Yeah.
So I seeked it elsewhere. I think I'm in a place now where I'm so secure and confident in myself. I mean, I'm 34 now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm bringing it in.
And we're way more secure and confident, I feel like, in our partnership.
Absolutely.
Too.
Absolutely. You know, and I think when you're in your 20s and you're living in New York, everything is just kind of on 100, you know. Like,
but were you like the
constantly,
grass is greener on the other side kind of a mentality? Like in reality, like would you like have broken up with me if I didn't find out? And now I hope, gosh, knock on wood, if anything has to happen, you would communicate with me if something was missing, as opposed to before you didn't even have you didn't tell me anything was missing. You didn't communicate with me what was going on. Sure. That you were craving.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But again, I think a lot of that comes with just the immaturity of age. You know, I think you were my third real
so were you.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like no. I mean, like I did not do any dating. I've had 3 girlfriends in my entire life.
Wow.
3, yeah. 1 in high school, 1 in college, 1 in real life.
Yeah.
So I didn't do any dating.
Right.
Right. That was never my thing. Sure, I met and I had relationships with women, but those were, like just kind of flings, and it was never anything serious. So it was a lot of learning for me of how to be in a relationship, because I'd never done that.
Well, a lot of people don't know how to be in a healthy relationship either. Like, that's part of my whole thing is that I feel like, and I'm going to say this until my face turns blue, and maybe this is my life mission, is to be able to create like textbooks for schools to be able to educate people on how to be in healthy relationships, how to navigate the hard moments, how to have the hard conversations, how to learn to feel more secure within yourself, that you don't go and seeking that outside validation from other people, because that's when people get hurt, and that's when trust gets betrayed.
1,000%. And honestly, I think when it comes down to it, it really starts with the individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're insecure in yourself, then that makes you insecure in your relationship.
Right.
Right? And if you're insecure in your relationship, then that makes you seek validation elsewhere, especially if you can't validate yourself. I think when I was in my 20s, I was just kind of figuring it all out.
Yeah.
I was learning relationships. I was learning to be in a long-term relationship. I think when we crossed the 2-year mark, that was the longest I had ever been in a relationship. I had never been in a relationship longer than 2 years.
You tried to break up with me after 3 months. I was like,
found territory.
No.
And again, it's just because, for me, it's just like relationships for me were such a serious thing that it was going to take a lot for me to actually lock down and commit. Because I was never the person to just date somebody just to date somebody, because that's not me.
Right.
I would rather be a free soul, living my life, than locking myself with somebody that I didn't know was the one.
Hmm.
So I had a girlfriend in high school. I had a girlfriend in college, and then I met you.
Yeah.
And as our relationship grew, through the struggles that we went through,
mm-hmm.
it just really solidified the strength in our relationship. And I was able to really kind of learn what love is. And that's kind of how we got to where we are today.
Yeah. I mean, when I found those text messages, obviously that was really difficult. And I think that you handled it in a really a mature way, where it made it almost kind of easy for me to start wanting to rebuild that trust with you. Obviously, the whole situation in itself wasn't great, ideal, and or mature, but at the same time, I think that it would have been a lot harder if we both kind of handled that situation differently to be able to have gotten to where we are now. Like, now, there's no doubt in my mind that I trust you. Maybe I still make some passive-aggressive comments like every now and then, but I think that now they're very few and far between.
Sure.
They are.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with
they
you.
are.
I'm agreeing with you. When I say sure, it's not a slight. It's just
they are. They're very few and far between. I agree with you. They are.
No, they are. They are.
Right?
They are. Definitely. I think our relationship is a lot more. There's a lot more understanding.
Yes.
With us.
And it's come with a lot of full transparency from you.
Yeah.
And it came with a lot of time. And I think that when trust is betrayed in a relationship, to be honest, I don't even know if it would have been as capable for us to move forward if it was physical. as opposed to just something emotional and texting.
Well, that's the thing, right? I think if there's anything that I am, it is self-aware, right? And I think for me, the whole the whole concept of emotional cheating. I mean, I had never fucking heard of that. Fuck. I had never heard of that term, phrase, or whatever in like 2000, whatever.
It's like
2013, 2014.
It was like 2018.
Yeah, but I'm going back to the beginning of our relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't really a thing. So I think a lot of people, not just me, go through these situations where they maybe are emotionally cheating. I mean, we've even seen it on TV.
Right.
And they're not aware that that's actually cheating, right? They're not aware that those interactions are impacting their partner's life
and betraying trust. And it's that's why, like, I don't think we would have done this before, but because I didn't have the education that I obviously do now. But I think that it's important for couples to have conversations on what they even define as cheating.
1,000%.
Like, is it liking other people's photos and commenting on other people's shit? I mean, you should do that before we have the conversations. The flame emojis, that's like crossing a boundary line for me. The dead silence.
Well, because I have thoughts about it, but
what is your thought about it?
I mean, I think that when you getting upset about that stuff is just really kind of just being upset for the sake of being upset.
No,
hang on, I'm not done yet. But I also see where you're coming from, and in terms of how it makes you feel and how it makes you.
But that's saying doing that kind of stuff. Like, do you still do that now? I don't like monitor your shit.
When was the last time you looked through my phone?
I don't know.
You told me.
Oh, the other morning, because it was just laying there, but like for no fucking reason. But I don't like go and like look at your like comments and like that kind of stuff in social media and whatever.
But you have free access.
Yes, I have free access, and you make that very clear and very known. But when you do leave comments on like other females' photos or like emojis on other females' photos, you do see the like, that's you telling another woman, hey, I like what I see. Let me make sure this woman knows that I like what I see.
Yeah, sure. But I think outside of that, again, it's just, there are things that you kind of learn as you go, right? And those are like more, to me, and I'm sure to a lot of other men watching this, minute things that it's just irrelevant.
Those minute things add up to less trust in your partner for like the things that matter.
And that's the learning part.
Those little things add up.
That's the learning part, right? Because I don't think that we are constantly, that's not really generally in the back of men's heads. We're just kind of going about our day without really thinking too much.
So then do you think that it would make sense to just not follow accounts that would like have you like
1,000%.
I know.
I don't follow accounts like that. But I think this is another inherent problem with social media and the apps and the algorithms. Right, like just the other day, I started a brand new fitness page on my Instagram. Right, fresh, zero. I haven't posted shit on it.
Yeah,
gotta stop cursing. And when I went into my For You page, it was just like girls flaunting their assets like left and right all the time.
Oh,
like
so what'd you do?
I went and I basically went not interested on every single one of them. You can look at my Instagram now.
I believe
it's curated. I mean, I'll show it to the crowd here. It's curated to just being what I want it to be, which is just, like mobility workouts, people doing this. Because I feel like that kind of, again, learning. I'm constantly learning. Seeing that kind of stuff on social media is a distraction. It's noise.
Yes.
And it takes the focus away from you.
Yeah.
And I'm at a place in my life now where I don't have any interest in looking at that kind of stuff. So I went in and just tapped the not interested button on every single one of them, refreshed my page, and then it became what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But that's the inherent problem with social media is I set up a page brand new.
Right.
And the first thing that's being shown to me is like, girls with like leggings that have like the wedgie in their butts. And I'm just like, this is not what I'm here for.
You're like, this is going to cause problems for me.
This
is going to cause problems for me.
Yes, but it's not even that. It's a distraction to what my goals are.
Right.
For why I started that page, right? Like I don't want to see that stuff.
Yeah.
And if people want to see that stuff, then they can subscribe to it and they can like it and all that stuff. But it's just, I'm at a place where that's not for me. It's a distraction, and I don't need that distraction. I don't want to see that on my page. And again, all of that has come with growth.
Yes.
And just me learning and kind of growing into myself.
You've also learned me and have learned to understand me. And like, that's come through some conflict also along the way. Amazing let go of us having to kind of like understand each other. Like both, like when you rebuild trust, right? It's not just the social media thing. It's not just the obviously not texting another girl behind your fucking partner's back thing. It's about being fully transparent. Like there were times where we had to like learn through the mistakes that were made, and then you correct it, and then we create consistency from that happening. Right? Like the times where you would be like, babe, I'm on my way home. And then you would go and stop, do something else, maybe grab a drink, stop at the bar. But you weren't actually on your way home. You were on your way to the bar, but you told me you were on your way home. Well, that's kind of, but
I was on my way home.
But you made a pit stop.
Okay, it doesn't change.
So then when I, who was trying to rebuild trust in you during those times, has your location, and then I'm like, oh, it's been a fucking long time since he said he would be home. He's still not home. And then I check your location and you're at a bar. Obviously, since trust was betrayed previously in the past, my mind goes to worst case scenario. Who the fuck is he meeting at this bar that he didn't want to tell me he was going to that bar?
Sure. And to clarify, that actually never happened. The instances where that has happened is when I say I'm coming home and then I just don't leave where I am.
That's happened like once since we've moved here, though. You stopped somewhere.
When?
I don't know exactly when. I can't give you specifics.
I just don't recall that happening.
But I do.
If you recall it happening, then you would be able to point to when it happened.
I don't know when it happened. It was like it was like when we first moved into this specific apartment or something like that. And then I explained to you why I was upset, and I was trying to be clear with you and said, if you're just like going to stop somewhere, just tell me you're going to stop somewhere. I'd rather you tell me than you just do it.
That's totally fair.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, and while I can't remember that happening, I think it is a fair point.
Right. I mean, because it's easy, like, you've had it very easy trust-wise in our relationship.
Also, like, who am I meeting out here?
I don't freaking know.
Who do I know?
I don't know. I'm not accusing you of anything.
I'm just saying, I know, like, 3 people.
Okay.
Four. You, your brother, your sister, your mom.
I know.
Just, you're literally your family. I have nobody.
I know.
Except you guys.
I know. I'm not at the place anymore where maybe how things were in like New York, where I would assume worst case scenario that you were going and meeting the like your girlfriends that you did have there. You did have a lot of female friends. You lived with a woman, for fuck's sake, right? Like, and she made it a very big point to even hurt my feelings, to make me feel worse and try and get in my own head, trying to tell me and convince me that you were doing stuff behind my back. Is that a friend? Absolutely not. But you know, it's just kind of like those things. But you know what I'm saying?
Where is that person now?
Well, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that how things were previously, and as you kind of have to learn and grow, evolve from that, those things just don't get erased, right? Those moments that we experience don't just magically get forgotten. We just learn how to forgive from them and move forward, and then be able to look at how much we have grown thus far, because I'm not a perfect angel by any means. I'm not a perfect angel by any means, right? But I've also been having to learn and grow along the way too. So you can learn to trust me with maybe not something that has to do with any infidelity or somebody else, but trust me to be able to come to me with your feelings, or trust me to be able to have a good conflict resolution kind of conversation without me going from 0 to 100. Trust is like built in so many different types of forms. It's not just solely around infidelity. But if that trust is broken, then that trust has to be rebuilt in so many different ways, so many different times, to create consistency.
Yeah, and it's not just like, you know, okay, I trust you now. It's trust is an ongoing work in progress.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think there's been scenarios where, you know, there was that one time when you were texting your ex behind my back.
Yeah.
You know?
But that was retaliation from what you did. Okay. Not my finest moment, obviously, but yes.
But it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing.
Of course. I'm not denying.
That broke my trust.
Yes.
And it's, you know, and again, it's just, we're constantly learning, you know, and I think when we were young, when we were earlier 20s.
Yeah, I mean, we met when we were 24.
Where the situations and just your personalities are different. You know, like the only constant is change, and our personalities are constantly changing.
Right.
When I was in my 20s, I was at Webster Hall every weekend. You know, I was, drinking every weekend. I was going to dubstep shows, house shows. I was at the very front moshing with people in like my tank top, and like, we were just crazy. I remember going to a party with a couple of my friends, and like we showed up, and they were like, "You want the red pill or the blue pill?" And
what?
It was like,
that was a thing?
Okay, the blue pill was melatonin. It was melatonin, and like I forget what the red pill was. And then I remember one of my friends took like 8 blue pills, and this was after he got kicked out of a Skrillex show at Webster Hall. He didn't even make it in. Oh
my god!
And that's how crazy those parties were. So like chemically, my brain had not matured at that point. I was being such a little kid. You know what I mean? I was just really taking advantage of being in art school and being an immature child. So, at that point, I probably wasn't ready for a relationship, but I met you and I fell in love with you and I liked you enough to kind of try to trudge along with it. So, I think along with that, I made a lot of mistakes, and from those mistakes, I was able to learn and grow to
I think
where we are today.
Best thing that we've done is grow together. I think that we've done an amazing job being able to like have that kind of like unconditional yet / conditional love for each other, where it's like, I know you're not going to just leave me at the first sign of hardship or first sign of trouble, and I hope that you trust me also to do the same in that regard as well. But I think that in order for a relationship to like truly work and to truly flourish is your ability to own your shit, fix your shit, be self-aware, and then grow together and as an individual.
Yeah, I mean, owning your shit is probably the most important, and for a lot of people, the hardest part of it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and owning my shit for me, like, took some time. For a long time, I used to just like cop out, and then as I kind of grew and through career changes and work stuff, I really started to realize that, in most cases, it's better to confront the issue than try to hide behind it. And when I had that realization, I mean, I think a lot of things changed for me. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's really allowed me to kind of get to the place where I'm able to build relationships with clients and friends and people where
I'm jealous that you have the ability to do that. Like,
transparency is so important. And I think, being able to just kind of speak to people in a transparent and pragmatic way takes you so far.
Yeah.
And, I don't think no one's perfect. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I've made mistakes in production in the past. Okay. I've made mistakes production in the past.
Yeah.
And, I think when I think through those scenarios, I think I can try to hide behind this, but if it ultimately comes out, it just puts me in a worse position. But I can also just get in front of it, own it, tell my client what happened, and try to find a way forward. And 10 times out of 10, my client's like, I appreciate the transparency.
Totally.
Thanks for being upfront about it.
Yeah.
Let's find a way forward. And that's just the most honest way to do it. You're saving yourself so much hurt, pain, stress by just owning your shit.
Yeah.
And I think that took years for me to learn.
Well, it took us like going through a lot of different hard chapters to be able to learn that that's just best case scenario. Because if you're doing something behind your partner's back, the worst thing that could happen is that they find it. Because ladies, we will always find out. We will always find out regardless of when. That is the one thing that I know to be true. So it's better to just, as hard as it might feel, to just be open and honest and stay ahead of it. Because if I actually don't even know, though, if you were to come to me and tell me, hey, this is what I'm doing, these are the conversations that I'm having, I'm trying to think if I would have handled it differently. I don't know. I think I still handled it pretty well for what we went through.
I think you and I have always had this, like, just knowledge, or just like we know in the back of our heads that we're in this for the long run.
Yeah.
So I think from the moment that happened, I think we were both kind of coming from a place of resolution.
Yeah.
Like even now when we get into fights, and we've gotten into some like
blowouts,
blistering. Yeah, we've gotten into some blistering fights where you leave, you slam the door, or I try to leave and you try to take my keys from me. You know, we've gone through the ringer.
Yes.
But I think despite us going through that time and time again, as sporadically as it happens, I think we always know that we're going to try to work it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, speaking for myself here, it would take like something monumental for me to come and say, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I don't give up. You know, I don't give up. And a relationship is just one of those other things where I wouldn't ever give up on us.
Thanks, babe. I wouldn't either.
And I think that's what we know in the back of our heads. And I think we've known that since the beginning.
Yeah.
Almost, you know?
Yeah.
Since you stalked me on the 6 train.
I did not fucking stalk you on the 6 train. Stop it.
I gotta bring it up.
I did not stalk you on the 6 train. What I did do is when we were broken up, after he broke up with me, I just knew the schedule and we lived around the corner from each other. And I ran into you by accident that one time on the car.
You also knew the train car.
But what are the odds of me coming from all the way on the Upper East Side, having to walk like 6 blocks to the train, and then but how? But even if I did do that, how would I have known when you were going to be on it at that exact moment? I could only hope to have been running into you, knowing the car that you did get into.
Let's agree to call it serendipity.
So I say fate brought us together.
Let's
again. Maisie, stop. My dog is literally grabbing my sweater this whole fucking time. I know, because the dogs have to be in here. But I wouldn't change a thing. The chaos is...
It is. It's our little family right here
fun.
with us.
I know.
Come here. You haven't made any screen time yet. Kelly. Oh, Kelly time.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable and talking with me about that.
I think this episode's been a long time coming. I'm glad that we had this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really like being on camera, but you know, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know, the lights are bright.
The lights are bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I love you. Thank you.
I love you, baby.
All right.
So
well, cheers.
Give me a kiss. Oh.
I hope that's not like really gross in the mic.
Oh man. Oh no.
Anthony's biggest pet peeve when we watch like dating shows is he's like, tell them to stop kissing with their mics on. It's disgusting.
Okay. Love is Blind when they meet and do the engagement. It's just a.
Okay,
it's the worst. Sorry, I'm gonna cut that out of the audio. It's so bad.
Maisie, let go.
The producers have to turn off the mics when people kiss.
I know.
Definitely.
I know.
Okay.
Should we do it? All right, my loves. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all the things. Share this episode, and just know that it takes time to rebuild trust. It takes conversation. It takes communication. Gosh, it takes a lot of different things. So, you know, if trust has been betrayed in your relationship, I don't know. Let this be a testament that it can be fixed. Can be done.
I mean, it takes both parties.
Yeah, totally.
It takes both.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys. Chat soon.